she felt, she always had that little spirit. She was always looking for somebody. But, she got to be quite heavy and she didn't have that many. But, for this man, her last husband, that was genuine love on his part. I tell you, he was so good to her and treated her so. I thought he was a gem.
Mm-hmm.
He really under all the circumstances and well then she lived in his house
Right.
until she died. Then she was 92, I guess. Where when he died, I I think she was a widow about 10 years before she died.
That sounds about right.
I think so.
Yeah.
After he died, but as I say, she had the home. She had the chance to keep on living in that nice home down there, his home, until she died. And his he had two minister sons.
Really?
Two of his sons were, well, now wait, one had been missionary over Taiwan. Yeah, they were over. He and his family were over in Taiwan. That was one of his sons, and the other one was a minister in one of the southern states, I believe. Both of his sons were ministers.
I didn't know that.
One was a missionary, and the other was a minister down there. And they all treated Mildred so well. I mean, with respect. They really. She was fortunate to get in that family. She had some rough spots along the way with some of these characters, along the way, but her last pastor, her last husband, I thought he was a lovely character. Yes, he was. Now, goodness sake, here I went rattling on.
No, I remember Mildred, and but I didn't know all those backstories. I just remember playing in her house on California Road.
Okay.
When we'd go to visit.
Okay.
She had all these little cast iron
Oh yes. Oh yes.
figurines, and I would just play with them, and oh yeah, yep.
Those were hers. One time when she was moving, I think from the California Road, I believe it was. I took them to preserve them, to take care of them. When things were going in, being packed and put in all directions, I thought they were so cute. And I wanted to preserve them for her, and I took them. Well, you know, everything the way it turned out, they're still there.
I know I have
I'm still taking care of them.
they're little Amish figures there, huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
They're heavy.
Oh sure, yeah.
I don't know what they're made of, but they're heavy as the dickens.
They're probably cast iron. I'm guessing.
It could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
I know that I have a box of cast iron soldiers.
Oh, do you?
A whole box, probably 40 or 50 of them. That at some point she gave me. I used to love to play with them, and then she gave them to me.
Mildred.
Yeah.
Oh, she collect all her life. She was collecting stuff.
Well, and I think they're worth quite a bit.
Yes, of course they are.
I think now they're worth $10 to $20 a piece.
Could be.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know Mary, that in her living room, that china closet, it was Mildred's. That was, I think it was Mildred's husband's, her first Mull, not the last husband, the middle husband there. That was his stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, her stuff is scattered all over the place.
I'm
Margie
sure.
has all oodles of stuff. Yeah. His stuff is scattered.
Now, I'm intrigued. So we were talking about Mildred kind of meeting these guys, and then one way or another they kind of got married. We talked about, or I was asking you earlier about how you and Pop met and that kind of stuff. We talked a little bit about life on the farm originally, but I'm curious. I know you guys had a long period of time where you were together, but you didn't get married because you were still both taking care of your
Parents.
parents. How did did Pop propose at some point, or did you guys just talk about it and at one point decide to get married, or how did that end up getting to the marriage stage? Was there a point where Pop got down on one knee and did some romantic thing, or?
One time he came down and he said, "Now we can get married." And he had the engagement ring in his pocket. I didn't know. I didn't know when he bought it. I didn't know ahead of time. But I remember the night that he came down, and this is exactly what he said. "Now we can get married." And he reached in his pocket, and that was the engagement ring. And that was in the spring. We got married then in July 5th. And that could have been April when he came down and brought that. But that's the way it was.
And why did he say now? What had changed, or why did all of a sudden?
His sister got a job. His sister got to be, I guess, 17 or 18. When we started in to go together, she was only 12 years old. Well, there were her two parents and his sister, 12 years old. And I went with him for a little bit, and then I said to him one night, I said, "Now, Sam," I said, "you still have your future cut out for you." I said, "Your sister is that young, and I said we might as well discontinue this, and so, while you take care of your family." And he took this in, but quiet Sam, he thought this over, and he said, "All right," and he left that night. And 3 weeks, and then I didn't hear a word. We didn't hear anything from each other. 3 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail, and then he said, "Would you allow me to come down on Saturday night?" And I said, "Sure." And he came down, and it never ended.
Now, what were you thinking at that point? Were you, for those 3 weeks, were you kind of disappointed that he wasn't there, or were you thinking to yourself, "All right, I'll get over it"? Or when
I thought in those 3 weeks, I thought definitely that had ended, that he just wasn't available, that it was just the way it was supposed to be, because I thought he was young in himself, and then he had this big responsibility on that his parents. I knew his father would never be able to earn a cent, and his mother, of course, always thought nobody. When I got married, then finally, that many years later, I kept on working in the hosiery mill. And his mother almost had a fit that I would work after I was married, because when you got married, you didn't work anywhere else. And I said, "Baloney on that." I said to Sam, "As soon as you get a different kind of a job that you earn any kind of amount of money," I said, "I'm going to work." I said, then when I knew about Bethlehem Steel, with the war going on and everything. I said, well, if you get a job at Bethlehem Steel or somewhere like that, I said, I'll quit the day you get a job. Well, that's exactly what I did when he got a job at Bethlehem Steel. But I had no idea how much they earned at Bethlehem Steel. I just thought somebody like something coming up like that was steady work, and for working for the government, I thought it was good pay. As it turned out, he only got 40 cents an hour, and that was $3.20 a day, and he worked 5 days. Well, 15, 20 cents, 5, 16, $16. It was a little bit more than he earned before, but not much, not much. But I had promised him that if he could get a job there, I would quit. That's exactly what I did. I did. But, his mother couldn't understand that I would want to go to work. That I was supposed to live on the $12 or $14. He got 14 later, but he had to earn it up through the years. But that I would not be able to live on that when they did. They did.
Sure.
And she thought this was a disgrace for me to work. Well, the heck with that.
Now, you mentioned World War II. What was it like? Now, you would have been in your early 30s when World War II started, like around 1940 to 1945.
Yes,
And I guess the kids were born during the war, or at least Mom was, right?
Yeah, she was born in 37, yes, yes. But then I didn't have any more until 42. That was when Mary, that was 7 years later.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was life like during wartime? I know there were some shortages. Were you getting a lot of news about the war? Was it something people thought about all the time, like now? Or did you just kind of go about your life and not really think about it?